We stand in a driveway near the front left corner of a small house lined with teal-painted siding and accented with thin orange brick. A short planter bed contains bushes on the house's front facade. We're surrounded by the other homes in the neighborhood on a pleasant sunny day. We're facing the house's carport, supported by several decorative teal-painted wrought iron columns. The left side of the carport is open to the side yard. The back side features a built-in storage shed and an opening leading to the backyard's gated entrance, and the right side features a concrete landing leading to the home's front door.
Welcome to the home of Medgar and Myrlie Evers and their 3 children, Daryl, Rena, and Van.
We move under the carport, facing a black plaque with gold lettering mounted on the house's exterior wall to the right. The plaque expands into view. It reads, Medgar and Myrlie Evers House has been designated a National Historic Landmark. This building possesses national significance as the home of Medgar and Myrlie Evers, both important participants in the civil rights movement. As Field Secretary for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Medgar Evers was at the foremost of every major civil rights event in Mississippi from 1955 until his assassination in 1963. Medgar Evers' assassination in his carport forced Myrlie Evers into a more prominent role in the civil rights movement. 2016 United States Department of the Interior. National Park Service.
This home now stands as the Medgar and Myrlie Evers Home National Monument, a tribute to the activism and the sacrifice of Medgar Evers and his family in their fight to build a more just world for all of us. But the Evers home is, at its core, a home.
We now stand in the home's backyard, facing the back wall of the structure. 4 windows and a door line the teal-shingled wall, and a narrow concrete path cuts through the grass leading to the back of the carport on the right side of the house. Fruit-bearing trees sit on either side of us, and the grassy backyard extends past the house on both sides, surrounded by a chain-link fence.
A place of refuge and celebration, a place of music, laughter, and joy. Step inside and get to know this remarkable family and the life they share together here in Jackson, Mississippi.
We're now standing in the living room of the house, facing one of the windows on the front wall of the house. This room, along with most other rooms in the house, is painted lime green. 2 beige couches with orange pillows line the living room, one in front of us under the window and one to our right along the wall. A short coffee table with several newspapers lies at the center. A dark brown upright piano sits against the wall to the left. The furniture sits atop a beige patterned rug, with orange-colored hardwood floors underneath. The front door lies open to our right, looking out onto the carport. The dining room is behind us, leading into the kitchen. To our left, we can look down the central hallway of the home, leading into the bedrooms.
Medgar Evers got his start as a civil rights organizer during his time as an agent for the Magnolia Mutual Life Insurance Company in Mound Bayou, Mississippi. Dr. T.R.M. Howard, who ran the company along with several other Mound Bayou businesses.
We now stand on the edge of the dining room facing a short bookshelf next to the now closed front door, the living room to our left. A small stack of long black bumper stickers sits on the shelf with white text that reads, "Don't buy gas where you can't use the restroom. Regional Council of Negro Leadership."
Founded the Regional Council of Negro Leadership in 1951, and Medgar Evers became one of its leaders. The RCNL organized rallies and voter registration efforts, and in 1952 launched a successful boycott of service stations, urging African Americans, don't buy gas where you can't use the restroom.
We now stand in the corner of the dining room, adjacent to the kitchen entrance, viewing a wide shot of the living room and dining room. The shelf with the bumper stickers lies across the room to our right.
This early introduction to field organizing was a crucial part of Medgar Evers' activist education.
We sit on the bench of the piano in the living room, the home's front door across the room behind us. A small folding photo frame featuring 2 of the Evers children sits on the piano, and an array of cross-stitched artwork of countryside scenes is hung on the wall above the piano.
Myrlie Evers began taking piano lessons at age 4, on the urging of her aunt and grandmother. Myrlie planned to attend Fisk University as a music major, but was denied an out-of-state scholarship and chose to enroll instead at Alcorn State University, where she met Medgar Evers.
We're now standing in the corner of the living room, facing the piano. The hallway lies to our left.
There were few opportunities for African American women in classical music, but Myrlie played regularly at home and as a church organist in Jackson, Mississippi. In 2012, Myrlie played a concert at Carnegie Hall, fulfilling her grandmother's childhood dream.
We're now kneeling in front of the living room coffee table, taking a closer look at the 4 folded newspapers spread across the table. The 3 newspapers on the right side of the table are from the Mississippi Free Press, while the paper on the left is from the Jackson Advocate.
At the height of Medgar Evers' organizing work, newspapers were crucial sources of information and played key roles in shaping public opinion of the Mississippi movement. Newspapers run by the White Citizens Council circulated to tens of thousands of readers, spreading misinformation and racial hatred. The Jackson Advocate, Jackson's African-American-run weekly newspaper.
We stand in the corner of the living room with the 2 couches on either side of us, and the coffee table with the newspapers on the floor right in front of us.
Took a conservative stance, advocating for separate but equal facilities and collaboration with white leadership. In 1961, Medgar Evers and a team of activists and journalists founded the Mississippi Free Press, which was the only newspaper in the state that provided accurate and unvarnished reporting on civil rights and the brutality of white supremacy.
We now stand in the corner of the dining room, facing a tall bookshelf made of dark red wood. This bookshelf is part of a built-in storage system surrounding a doorway from the dining room to the kitchen. A large green vase sits on the top shelf. The shelves below contain various sets of books, such as a box set of Disney stories, the junior classics, and books by authors like Freud and Tolstoy, along with several containers and trinkets. A set of encyclopedias sits on the bottom shelf.
The Evers family home was full of books, perhaps most notably a well-used set of encyclopedias. These encyclopedias provided education and information about the world during a time of political upheaval.
We return to the bookshelf next to the front door, now kneeling on the floor to view its contents. Its 2 shelves are packed full of the Britannica set of the great books, including works by renowned philosophers, scientists, and poets.
As a World War II veteran, Medgar was keenly aware of the connection between Nazi Germany and the Jim Crow South. He was especially tuned in to the African independent movements of the 1950s and the 1960s, including the end of colonial rule in Ghana in 1957. The Evers family understood that all struggles for freedom are connected.
We stand facing the dining room table, the living room behind us and the kitchen to our right. The rounded rectangular table is made of an orange-colored wood and is surrounded by a set of 4 ornate wooden chairs with green and white floral fabric on the seats. The dining set sits on a beige rug that fills the room. A glass-doored china cabinet sits against the wall to our left, next to the bookshelf by the front door. A brass-colored chandelier hangs from the ceiling, and a white curtained window on the back wall looks out into the backyard.
The Evers family maintained a close group of friends and collaborators, many of whom spent time at their home and passed long hours deep in conversation at the dining room table. The workday often transitioned from Medgar's office at Stringer Lodge to the home, where Medgar and Myrlie hosted meetings about the ongoing work of the Jackson movement.
We move to the corner of the dining room with the china cabinet to our right, a wide shot looking across the dining table and into the living room.
Friends including James Baldwin and Margaret Walker sat at the table, imagining a more just future.
We stand in the center of the home's hallway, facing the front door through the living room. Rena Evers's bedroom can be seen through the doorway to the left. A simple twin mattress sits on a box spring lying on the ground, positioned below the bedroom's window. Behind us, doorways lead into the bathroom, Daryl and Van's room, and the primary bedroom.
Medgar was always concerned about the security of his family, placing beds on the floor, installing a pebble roof to alert him to intruders.
We stand in the pink bathtub, the rest of the bathroom partially visible beyond the shadows of the shower curtain. The tub and most of the bathroom are lined with green tiles of varying shades. We can see the matching pink sink and the mirror hanging above it. Peering out the bathroom door, we can see back into the home's hallway.
And establishing safety practices, like hiding in the bathtub and getting out of the car through the passenger side to allow quicker access to the side door. Although the home was a place of relative safety, the family and their neighbors were keenly aware that they were under siege.
We return to the dining room, now facing the left side of the built-in shelf leading into the kitchen. There is a large open space above the shelf, forming a pass-through ledge between the two rooms. A black rotary telephone and a yellow pages book for the city of Jackson sit next to each other on the ledge.
Violent responses to Medgar's activism were commonplace.
The telephone's corded headset is removed from the phone's base and set to the side on the ledge.
And included constant racist phone calls made to the family's telephone. Myrlie would occasionally leave the phone off the hook to prevent these calls. She did her best to stop the children from answering the phone and having to hear these threats of violence coming into their home.
We move into the kitchen, facing the mint green stove with the dining room to our right. Above the stove is wallpaper patterned with white bricks and ivy, and above that are wooden cabinets. To the right of the stove is a green countertop, where a chrome blender and toaster sit. The kitchen opens into the hall through a doorway to the left of the stove, and a washing machine sits in the corner to the left of this doorway. More counters and a sink lie to the left of the washing machine. A mint green fridge is against the wall behind us, next to a door leading to the backyard. Cabinets made of dark red wood line the upper walls of the kitchen with a green tile backsplash.
Medgar Evers was a college athlete and an Army veteran who was serious about his health. His family members tell stories of him making smoothies in a blender in the kitchen.
We now stand directly in front of the fridge. Between the fridge and the sink, a colorful curtain covers a window looking out on the backyard. Storage containers and a dish rack sit on the countertop below this window.
And exercising frequently. It was here, too, that Myrlie cooked meals for the family and their friends.
We now stand in Daryl and Van Evers's bedroom at the far end of the hallway, facing a window with blinds and a colorful curtain with animal figures. Two twin beds lie on the floor on either side of us. A frame hanging below the window contains 3 photos of the Evers children, and a nightstand with a Sleeping Beauty storybook and a lamp is positioned against the wall between the 2 beds. A toy drum set sits in the corner to the right, next to a small desk with several toys on top. The entrance to the bedroom is on the wall behind us, along with the door to a closet and a small wooden chair.
Medgar and Myrlie were devoted parents to 3 children, Daryl, Rena, and James, nicknamed Van. Growing up in the turmoil of the Mississippi Civil Rights Movement was not easy, but they had a loving and joy-filled childhood, picking peaches, figs, and plums from trees in the backyard, watching Tarzan movies, and dancing to Chubby Checker records.
We now stand in Rena Evers's bedroom, which is positioned in between the living room and the primary bedroom, and across the hallway from the kitchen. We are facing the twin mattress situated below the white curtained window. A yellow Ike and Tina Turner poster hangs to the right of the window with a bedside table against the wall below it. A short bookshelf sits against the wall to our left with a photo of the Evers family hanging above, and a closet door to the left. More family photos hang on the wall to our right, and a small desk sits against the wall behind us next to the bedroom's entrance.
Medgar's assassination was traumatizing for the entire family, and the lasting fear of violence led to the family's relocation to Southern California in 1964. Daryl became an avant-garde artist and entrepreneur. Van took up his father's love of photography, and Rena Evers Everett followed in her mother's footsteps into the business world. She now serves as the executive director of the Medgar and Myrlie Evers Institute.
We now stand in Medgar and Myrlie Evers's bedroom, facing its entrance into the hallway with a wooden vanity dresser and wooden chair on the wall to the left. The vanity has a large mirror against the wall, and perfume bottles and small photo frames sit on the dresser. There is a closet door to the left of the vanity, a mid-20th century style wood and brass frame TV, next to the door in the corner. The four-post wooden bed is positioned against the back wall with a pink patterned blanket covering the mattress. Bedside tables with lamps sit on either side of the bed, and a wooden cross and framed artwork hang on the wall behind it. A wide white curtained window is on the wall to the right, and a tall dresser with a lamp and family photos sits in the back right corner. Another taller white curtained window on the wall behind us looks out onto the front yard. A colorful floral rug covers the hardwood floor.
On May 20th, 1963, the Evers family liked to gather here to watch Medgar appear on local news to offer a strong rebuttal to a televised speech by Jackson's segregationist mayor, Allen Thompson.
We now sit on the bed facing the television, which is playing President John F. Kennedy's 1963 televised address to the nation on civil rights.
The speech shared Medgar's voice with all Mississippians. A few weeks later, on the night of Medgar's assassination, Myrlie and the children sat on the bed watching President John F. Kennedy deliver a speech on civil rights following the desegregation of the University of Alabama. Kennedy spoke about the need for equal rights in America and presented his vision for legislation that would become the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Kennedy acknowledged the work and courage of civil rights leaders like Medgar and Myrlie Evers.
In this respect, I want to pay tribute to those citizens north and south who've been working in their communities to make life better for all. They are acting not out of a sense of legal duty, but out of a sense of human decency. Like our soldiers and sailors in all parts of the world, they are meeting freedom's challenge on the firing line, and I salute them for their honor and their courage.
We return to the carport, standing underneath it with the home's front door to our right.
On the evening of June 11, 1963, Medgar attended a celebration at New Jerusalem Baptist Church after a day of picketing on Capitol Street. The meeting ran long, and Medgar arrived home after midnight. He got out of his treasured powder blue Oldsmobile and took a box of Jim Crow Must Go t-shirts out of the trunk. A shot rang out from across the street.
We turned to face the front door of the house.
And he was gunned down in his driveway. Myrlie ran to the carport to find him, and friends and neighbors loaded his body onto Rena's mattress to take him to the University of Mississippi Medical Center, where he died. Medgar was 37 years old. His legacy lives on in the civil rights movement he helped to build, and in the ongoing work of Myrlie Evers Williams and all the activists he inspired.
We moved to the front yard, facing the facade of the house. Narrated by Robert Stanton, 15th Director of the National Park Service. Music, Love and Truth, written by Dustin Ransom, performed by cast of characters, produced by cast of characters. Music, Stay In, written by David Thulin, performed by Trebulence Ahead, produced by Trebulence Ahead. Music, Road to Home, written by Dustin Ransom, performed by Solitude, produced by Dustin Ransom. Film footage of President Kennedy courtesy of the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation. The Medgar and Myrlie Evers home was modeled in collaboration with members of the Evers family. This video was produced by Lobaki for the National Park Service.